Welcome back to Tamar Vintage Tractors. Today I'm going to talk to you about the National Vintage Tractor Run that's coming up on Easter Sunday in Cornwall. It's the first time for 23 years that it's been back in Cornwall, and this year it's starting from St Mirren Airfield, and it's been hugely well supported this year. There's nearly 500 tractors entered on the run. Looks to be a fantastic day out. There's some beautiful roads and beautiful scenery around Cornwall and the coast that they're going to take you on. So what we wanted to do today is just bring you a video on what to look out for and what to do to your tractor before you embark on such a road run. And there's a lot of you are probably doing these things already, but it may just jog your memory, and it's going to be a long run and you want to enjoy the most of it. So if you're going to enjoy it, it's worth just spending an hour running through your tractor to make sure it's not going to let you down on the day. This is a tractor we're going to take. This is the Massey 2640. Maybe a bit big for something like this, but I've chosen it. It's got a lovely bright airy cab. We've got a heater in case it gets cold, we've got air conditioning in case it gets warm. It's going to protect us from the elements. 1980, so it fits well within the brief of the National Road Run. Anyway, let's have a look around this. Let's pick some bits and pieces which I think is worth noting and worth checking on your tractors before you set off. So one of the first points I'd recommend anybody to check before you embark on any road run is check your wheel nuts, check your tyre pressures. You'd be surprised the number of tracks I come across where the wheel nuts either finger tight or loose. So get yourself a nice big bar and just give those wheel nuts a quick tweak, make sure they're nice and tight. Go around and we'll do the backs in a minute, and then we'll come around and we'll check the tyre pressures. I've got my tyre pressure gauge here. Tyre pressure is always an interesting one. I like to run somewhere around 25 psi in these big front tyres, but as a rule of thumb, if you're running a 16-inch wheel like that, somewhere between 20 and 30 psi should work fine. And I quite often find back tyres are very hard on tractors. If you're on a road run, you're not carrying any weight, they don't need to be blown up hard. I'd recommend somewhere between 8 and 12 psi depending on the tyre size, but you'll get a feeling for that when you take your tractor down the road. If you take your tractor for a run down the road and it feels a bit light on the steering, perhaps your front tyre's a bit hard. Worth letting a couple of psi out. Same if the ride is really rough and really bouncy, check your tyre pressures in your back tyres, because they may be way too hard. And I've come across several tractors recently where they must have had tyres changed and they've had an excess of 30 psi in the back, and you can't drive the thing down the road because it's so bouncy. Let the tyres down to a sensible pressure, say 10 to 12, and it will absolutely transform your ride. So just first point, just to check your wheel nuts, check your tyre pressures. So now we've gone around, we've checked all the tyre pressures, go around and give it a good grease. Kingpins on the front here, just a few squirts of grease. And lubrication in these areas are really going to transform your steering. If this is dry, this hasn't been greased for 12 months, this is going to really transform your steering. Get some grease in here. Also, while you're doing it, do your wheel bearings and follow your way around. Every tractor has got various individual grease points. So I'm going to go around in this in a minute. I'm going to do the steering, I'm going to do the centre pivots here. I'll go and do some of the linkages on the back for the brakes and other linkages that have got grease points on. Just give them a quick squirt of grease and make sure all those things are nicely lubricated. So I've recently serviced this tractor, and I know in the past we've had diesel bug issues. If you've left your diesel tractor parked up over winter, seconds, just drop the filters or even change filters, and if there's any sign of that fuel bug in there, that sludge or bug, chuck the filters away. They're only £7 or £8 each. Change your filters and get an additive to put in your tank just to kill that diesel bug, because the last thing you want to do is get halfway through this road run to find that your fuel filters have got choked up with diesel bugs. It would be worth noting as well, if you have got any elements of bug or anything like that, maybe worth just draining your tank, cleaning your tank out, fresh diesel in, and take it for a drive to make sure it's all going to be right. Whilst you're in this area, I can just see in here, it's not that easy to pick out, but in here we got the fan belts. Just check the condition and the tightness of your fan belts. Again, fan belts driving your water pump, driving your dynamo, driving your alternator. If those are loose, your water pump's not going to work properly, it's not going to get the full flow it needs, and your dynamo or alternator's not going to charge your battery properly. So just seconds again, just check that they're tight, check they're not cracked. These are all fine. So again, often wonder why I picked such a big tractor, but it's great fun. But up here, we've got the radiator cap. Obviously make sure engine's cold. Just check you've got adequate coolant in there and you haven't got any obvious coolant leaks or your radiator's leaking. Again, because after 30 odd miles that this road run is, you don't want a coolant leak to let you down. While I'm over this side now, just going to check the oil level in the tractor, the engine oil. Again, we've only recently serviced this, we've got nice fresh oil in there, that's all fine. And that should be ready to go. Whilst looking on this side of the engine, just check the fuel lines, make sure you haven't got any obvious leaks or any cracked or perish hoses. Again, worth just looking over conditions of wiring on the back of the alternator. Make sure there's no pipes or anything running over here. It's sort of standard things you'd do on a, taking a tractor out for a day's work in the field, so why not do it if we take it on a road run. So we're now around the back of this tractor. We're obviously not going to hitch anything up today, we're not going to take anything on the road run with us that needs any of the hydraulic outlets, but equally as important as the front end is check the oil in the back end. I've got a dipstick here. Again, this tractor's recently been serviced, but we will check that. Your oil in your back end is just as important as in your front end, because that's doing the lubrication, your gearbox, your hydraulics. In this instance, we've got wet brakes in this tractor, so we need to make sure we've got adequate oil in the rear end. So again, around the back here, and we've checked the wheel nuts, we've checked the tyre pressures, but just have a look around the tyres, big tyres. Again, the tractor's been parked up over winter, so just check to make sure you haven't got any nasty cracks or any signs of your inner tube coming out, because tyres are going to get warm running on the road. You just want to check to make sure you've got nothing here that's going to let you down halfway through the day and spoil a day. So I'm fortunate with this tractor, I've got lights and indicators, so I just want to check the indicators. I've got the hazards on, both those are working. Side light here works. I've got a side light out over on this side, so we'll look at that later, get that fixed. But if you've got a tractor with lights, why not make sure they work? You know, it's part of having a roadworthy vehicle and part of your roadworthiness checks. It doesn't take much to check your lights. And whilst you're at it, just check your mirrors. If they're fitted, just check the mirrors are clean, because they're going to give you a good clear vision of what's coming up behind you. We've got some narrow country roads. All these things are just going to help your enjoyment of the day. And really, the last thing we want to do is we're going to start the old girl up. And we're going to check to make sure all our warning lights go out, and that one's fine, that's just a handbrake light. And I'm going to take this tractor for a good 20-30 minute drive before we go on the run, just to make sure nothing's going to cause problems, nothing's going to fall off, and we haven't got any major oil leaks, because I haven't used it since Christmas. So I hope you enjoyed our video this morning, and I hope you found it informative. I don't want to teach people to, as they say, suck eggs, because I know a lot of you look after your truck as well, but hopefully you may just pick something up and thought, actually, yeah, that is a good idea, we ought to just check that. Look forward to seeing you all on Easter weekend. We'll be down there, come and say hi. You'll see us, we've got this tractor, we'll have some flags by it, so yeah, do come over, say hi, come and see us, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you on the road.